Hi, my love. I wanted to talk about something that I feel like not enough people talk about, cover about in astrology. And that is why sometimes you feel like you just can't commit to any path. I know that this is something that quite a few people go through. But again, it's one of those obscure blind spot that it's just not a big topic, and that's why I feel like it often goes unnoticed. But again, when you are doing your own reading, when you're having like a session with an astrologer, this is all the type of information that will be brought up to your consciousness. That way you can be aware of that, because so many times we're cut up into patterns and we're not even aware of them. And if we're not aware of them, then we don't really have that much, we don't have a fighting chance to win the war if you're not aware of certain patterns that might be a bit toxic that you might have fallen over the years, that you might have fallen into over the years. So, as usual, I actually revamped the whole links in my, underneath. So you can find a link to book your own private session with me. That way we can go through your birth chart and even do your transit reading. So we could see exactly what exactly is waiting for you this year, because we all know that there is, or maybe you don't know. So there is your natal birth chart, which is like what you're actually born with. It doesn't change. And then every year, because the sky is just always doing this dance, right? And the planets are always having this crazy rehearsal and the final, show. And then it's always very active in there. And these are all energy. They're like, I believe that they're celestial bodies and with that carry energy, and they are impacting us, each of us in different ways. And this is how the transit kind of reveals how the planetary movement is affecting you personally. So, now, having said that, I'm gonna say that in every episode, so apologies if you heard me saying that already, but I never know who checks in when, so I have to say these things. This is part of an ongoing series that I'm gonna do. These episodes are gonna be a little bit shorter, but they're gonna be more, we could say, diagnostic. I'm actually really excited about this series. Of course, I'm still gonna have my long spiritual talk, because hello, spirituality is everything. It's at the base of everything that I do. And I think they're very important. Even if they do get less views, I do believe they're extremely important because it's the essence of everything. So these are not going anywhere, don't worry. It's just that I really want to start adding those shorter check in, and like I said, they're gonna be more diagnostic. This is the this is a series where I'm gonna zero into specific issue that I see in my clients, in my readings, in my astrological readings, and I wanna bring more awareness about them. So today we're talking about why you might feel like you falling behind in life, and that is a very, actually, no, that's not, that's another that's another topic. We're all over the place. This topic is coming next. No, 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 no. Focus, please. Today we're talking about why you can't commit. This is very, very, very. This happens quite often where people, have clients with specific issues, and it's very triggering for them because they want to commit. They want to do the change. They just want to commit to certain path, but it's almost like there is that force that is holding them back. And why I wanted to talk about this because there are quite a few reasons in your chart that might explain why you're feeling this way. The number one elephant in the room is you being that we assess together is, are you a mutable sign? Calling out my beautiful signs. There is, I'm thinking Pisces, Virgo. These are mutable signs, as in they flow, right? They can easily adapt and flow, and this is why you would often find this type of life issue with mutable sign because it's great. I think it's an amazing quality to be able to flow and go wherever the wind, pushes you. It's great to have this sort of malleability in life and being able to adapt to different situations really fast. However, everything good taken to another extreme is a problem, right? So this can also be a reason why that you feeling that you can't commit to everything. It might be an indicator that you are making too much sacrifice or contorting yourself a little bit too much to satisfy other people, etc., etc. That is one reason that can explain this feeling of why you can't commit. Another very important, I'm not going to go through all the reasons because I don't want to be here all day. Like I said, I want these episodes to be a little bit shorter, bite size. So we talked about figuring out if there's mutable dominance in your chart. Now, that doesn't necessarily only mean in terms of your sun sign. Again, this is why we are a bit of everything because it's not just you being a Virgo, or a Pisces that will determine if you have a heavy mutability in your chart. It can also be in terms of your moon sign or your rising sign, right? So these are all things that we look at together because I feel like we are way overdoing astrology basis and focusing only on the sun sign. This is so basic. We're past that. We're way past that. And another reason actually might be heavy Neptune influence in your chart. So we look at, because Neptune is the planet that represents spirituality, it's the creativity, it's the otherworldly vibe. It's that, they're not here, they're from another planet, another world. So it's those deep spiritual concept, this deep, like, beyond this world of 1% of limited physical reality that we call real life. So we look at, I'm getting goosebumps. We look at where is Neptune in your chart, right? Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that Neptune is seen as the modern day ruler of Pisces. I personally still like to stick to the traditional ruler, for example, of Pisces, which is Jupiter. And then I see sometimes, depending on my mood, actually, I also see Neptune, but more as the co ruler of Pisces. Why am I saying that? Because it doesn't necessarily mean that this will impact you. Goodness, it's so hard for me to talk after taking that long 2 weeks vacation. Note to self, do not disappear for such a long time again, all right? So it doesn't mean that you have to be a Pisces, by the way. We all have Neptune somewhere in our chart. So that means we take a look at where is Neptune hiding for you. Because if it's, another example could be if it's close to your ascendant, that is something that is, let's say it's conjuncting, which is very close to your ascendant, it will have a great impact on your life. Actually, if it's anywhere, if it's creating any hard aspect, again, I don't want to get too much into like astrological jumbo, but these are all things that we break down in private sessions together. But I just want you to know that if you have Neptune in, let's say, your eighth house, which is the house related to deep spirituality, well, mostly deep birth and rebirth and intensity, if you have Neptune that is very close to your ascendant, which is pretty much how you show in life, how you do the day to day, how you show up through the world, how you move through life, it is gonna have an impact on you. So these are all things that we look at, and depending on which house it falls into, it's gonna give a different flavor to Neptune in your life. It's gonna show in your life differently. So these are all reasons that can make you feel like you can't commit to anything. Let's say you have Neptune closer to your, the 10th house, which is very, or close to your MC, which is all related to work and the impact that you have into the world in terms of like work and professional contribution. then yeah, if your Neptune is chilling there, then it will impact, this feeling that you can't commit to a specific career path. So all of these things are things that we look at. In your real life, it's gonna show up as indecision, changing plans a lot, changing goals, and all of these things are really frustrating, I know. But the reason why we want to know all of these things again is so that we can be aware of them. That way we can get that power and overcome them. That is the purpose behind everything I do here. And also, we find some deep identity fragmentation because it is frustrating not being able to decide, not feeling like you can't commit to anything can really impact your self-esteem negatively. So this is why I really wanted to talk about this, because it breaks my heart when I see, people really feeling like there's something wrong with them. God forbid they're worthless. I hear these words quite a lot, and it just breaks my heart. But this is why I wanted to talk about that, because once you understand that it's not you, it's just, you know, you understand why it's showing that way in your life, then it empowers you, and then you have the right tools to go and make the changes, and this doesn't really happen without awareness at all. On that note, this is all I could go on for days and days, but like I said, we're gonna keep them short and sweet. And as usual, you can book a reading with me. My calendar link is down below. I've updated all the links, and this is the kind of things that we see together in a private session. It's very targeted to your own chart. If you feeling in this episode today, if you feeling like you can't commit, I know it's frustrating, you need help, you don't have to do this alone, my love. On that note, I will see you in the next one, and keep shining bright like a diamond. And I think the next one that we're recording is when you feeling behind, blah, blah, blah. Okay, when you are feeling behind in life, why is that? What does that mean? So stay tuned to check that out. I'll see you in the next one, my love. Bye.